Hi, you guys. Welcome to my channel. My name is Karen Odd, and these are Karen's Oddities. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Regardless, I do want to ask that you give this video a thumbs up, comment your thoughts below, even if you disagree with my content. And I also want to ask that you share this video with one person that you know, and also share my channel with one person that you know, as I'm confident there is one thing here that either you or they can benefit from. Let's get into today's video. So today is Sunday morning. And sometimes I come with ideas on what I want to make these videos about. Sometimes I'm focused on my rules series, which I don't even know where my notebook is, but where I discuss one of the rules that I've highlighted at some point in my life. And other times it's based on whatever I experienced this weekend or whatever is heavy on my mind. So this morning when I woke up, I prepared my coffee and I was thinking like, what should today's discussion be about? And I decided that I wanted to talk about something that I've never really talked about on here is my decision to be sober from, we're just going to talk about alcohol for now. Not that I'm not sober from drugs. I am sober from drugs as well, but the reason for my sobriety from any type of substances other than alcohol is for a different reason that I do not want to discuss on this platform. So we're talking about alcohol. I'm not an expert. I did not do research or prepare for this video. I'm going off of my experience, my knowledge, my awareness, and what I see is happening within me and around me. So a little bit of background as it relates to my experiences with alcohol. I'm half Mexican and half Black. I grew up with the Mexican side of my family, and not stereotyping, just being honest, just talking about my experience. My family liked to party. Like, we would have parties. I remember being a kid, parties, 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 uncle drinking, grandfather, he was older, so he wasn't drinking at that point. He probably drank when he did. You know what? My mom told me my grandfather used to have a problem with drinking. So when by the time he entered my life, like, he was no longer drinking. But I remember, like, there was always alcohol, there was always beer, there was always a tequila shelf or like a cabinet with like alcohol. I remember my uncle coming over and always sitting in the corner chair and having a beer. I remember my other uncle, there was always a beer in someone's hand, right? Whether it was a party or not. That was just the way I grew up. A lot of partying, a lot of drinking. But it seemed, I mean, as a child, there's only so much that you can recognize and understand. But at that time, it didn't seem out of the ordinary. Like, I never experienced like belligerent drunk people. Do I remember seeing my uncle cry sometimes? I would. But I think at that time, like, I didn't understand what that was or what was happening. As it relates to like my parents, I've never seen my dad touch alcohol. I think by the time I could become aware of alcohol and how it impacts your body and understanding that that's like an adult substance, I think by the time I became aware of that, my dad was a strict ass Muslim. So he was not touching absolutely any alcohol or any substances that whatever, he was not. I've never seen that in my dad, and I don't even know if he's ever drank before. Prior to that, he was Catholic. That's another story for another day. But and my mom, I never saw her drink, but I know like after the divorce for a little bit, like, she would go out with her friends, and I imagine like she'd have a drink or two. I don't know. Then we would have parties at my house, like when my little brother was young, and there was always alcohol. There was a tequila cabinet. And then I think my first experience with alcohol was, I think I was 14. My best friend, she would like spend the night often, and it would be like sometimes 3 days in a row. We would have a freaking blast. And I, being the silly, stupid 14-year-old, I need to take a sip because this is so embarrassing. I remember we broke into my parents' alcohol. It wasn't broken into because it's not like it had a lock. Like, I know some places, some houses, they lock up their alcohol. That was not the case here. So I remember like opening the alcohol cabinet and like pouring like shots of it and like drinking them at 14. And then I remember replacing what we thought we drink with water, like anyone was gonna notice, like anyone monitored it that way. Obviously, we didn't open bottles that weren't open. And then we were like taking pictures, like drinking. It was so, so stupid, you guys. It was so stupid. I know it's cringe, I know. But let's be honest, like, a lot of us did cringy things at 14. Or let's be even more honest. A lot of us still do super cringe things. Okay, you got to be honest with yourself. And I think I still do cringe things. They're not as bad as when I was 14, but I definitely still do cringe stuff. So that was my experience pre 21. Then I remember, I just got a picture and I haven't opened it yet. Then I remember, texts are coming in. I guess people are waking up. When I was 18, I went to my first nightclub, and I think someone would buy me alcohol there because someone was sneaking in with a fake ID. I remember someone. So I went to my first nightclub, and I remember drinking, and I remember for the first time, like, dancing and feeling so freaking free. Like, I was a super shy person. I'm not really shy anymore. Thank you, God, for taking that away. No offense if you're shy, but I think that when you are shy, now I'm going on a tangent, but I need to say this. I think that sometimes when you're shy, like, you're living in a shadow. You're not really being your authentic self. You're biting your tongue. You're not saying what you want to say. You're not getting the things that you want. And shyness it just ain't it, honestly. Like, shyness is you not living in your full potential. So I'm glad that I'm not shy anymore. But when I was shy and when I was younger, like, I didn't want to dance. Like, I was embarrassed. I was shy. I was insecure. I was self-conscious. So it's like, I remember sometimes having drinks at this club and like dancing like nobody's watching, dancing like it's the last day on earth, and then having an amazing time. Like, dancing is such a like great relief. Like, you release endorphins out of your body. Not the point. So I think I started having drinks occasionally when I would go out to this club that was like 18 and up. Starting at the age of 18, and then from 18 to like 20, it's such a blur, that the time in my life. 18 to like, how old was I in 2018? Oh, it's 3 years ago. 27, 28. From like 18 to 28, 18 to 27. That's it. It was 27. That was the year. From 18 to 27, I was in that relationship where like I was in love with my ex, like head over heels. Could nothing stop me. Could nothing stop us. Stand by my man. And I stuck beside him for like 10 fucking years of my life. So, he was, and I don't want to talk about him a lot because it's not important, but I'm just trying to paint the picture of my growing up and experience with alcohol. He was, controlling, but in a way where it's like manipulative controlling, not like, you better not go here or you better not do this. It would be like he wouldn't say anything, and I wouldn't ask permission because I don't have to ask you permission. You're not my parent. But if I went there or if I did such thing, then like that night, like he would send me texts to like ruin my night, or he would like next day like make me feel like shit about it and say a lot of things that were just super rude, that would make me be in my head about it and make me feel guilty and bad about enjoying myself. So he was like manipulative, controlling, like that psycho stuff, okay? Not like the you better not. No, it's like, okay, yeah, go ahead, have a good time. And then I'm there and it's 10 o'clock and it's like, you're a fucking liar. You're probably doing X, Y, and Z. It was just so fucking toxic. And if you're in one of those relationships, this is also a little tidbit. Get the fuck out of it, please. Please save yourself and get out of that relationship as soon as you possibly can and start living your life with someone that is not insecure, someone that is not going to disrespect you, and someone that is not going to manipulate you and make you feel like shit. Please get out of that relationship. So, I break up. The breakup happens. It's not we break up. And then at 27 was the very first time that I could openly drink and that I started drinking. Like, I'm like, oh, like I can go to a bar, use my ID, and actually get alcohol that's not purchased for me. Like, now I am in control of my drinking and my consumption. So from 27 to like 29, 30, I was partying hard fucking core. Number one, I was going through a breakup that was like shattering my fucking world. Number two, my grandmother had passed away while I was in the Dominican Republic. She was in Mexico. Like, I never had a chance to like fully mourn that transition because I didn't attend the funeral. Like, it was crazy. It was fucking crazy. It was like, now that I'm thinking about it, I realized I never got a chance to mourn that. let's continue. There was something else going on in my life at that time as well. It's just like everything was like really fucking shitty. I'm getting a FaceTime call, but I'll call them back after. Everything was like super duper fucking shitty for me. And I was going out with my best friend, and her and we were at some of the hottest clubs in the city, and we were there every single weekend to the point where the bouncers knew us. We were going to different bars, different clubs every week, and it's like, where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? Um, and it was fun for a little bit, but as someone that never had that experience of like drinking from like, 21, like that little drinking where you're starting to learn to dibble and dabble in alcohol, I didn't know what I was doing, you guys. So I was a binge drinker. Like when I would go out, I'd be like, yeah, let's do shots, let's do shot. I had no concept of how fucked up you can get by just throwing drinks back. I had no concept of like Long Island's are one of the strongest drinks. Like if you have a bunch of those, like you're gonna be fucked up because they put 7 different liquors in them or 7 different forms of alcohol. I had zero concept of this. So when I would go out, I would overdo it every fucking time without a fucking doubt. And my form of overdoing it was, well, I guess the result of me overdoing it was drunk texting, drunk texting my ex, drunk calling my ex, going on Instagram Live because I didn't know how to record videos. I'm such an idiot. I would go on Instagram Live and talk to people. What else would I do? I would fall a lot. I have a lot of alcohol related falls and injuries that I sustained. I think both fucking knees, like I fucked them up. This is when I was on vacation. And then at this time, like while I'm going through this breakup and these other things, my best friend, it's the first time I left the country. Like I went to the Dominican Republic, and from then it was off. Like I was out. I was in the Dominican Republic. I went to Jamaica. I was in Mexico. Like we were just taking off. And then I'm staying at all-inclusive resorts that have open alcohol. This is like fucking dangerous for a person that doesn't know how to drink, is just starting to drink, is depressed as fuck, is going through a breakup, the loss of her grandmother, and something else, which is huge, like super emotionally difficult for me to process. And I was going fucking crazy. Like I was going wild. And I'm not going to summarize, like we know all the things that people can do and all the ways that drinking too much can manifest in the immediate moment. But just to share a couple of other things, like almost got kicked out of a club, got kicked out of a restaurant, almost got banned from there, almost got arrested, almost got in fights with people. Like it was a lot. I was doing too fucking much, way too fucking much. Okay, that's like the immediate result, right? That's not even considering the other ways that that type of drinking was affecting me. It was affecting my relationships, right? My relationships with people. If I get drunk and it's like I'm finally saying the things that I didn't want to say to you or that I was afraid to tell you, and I'm like blasting it in a text message, I'm blowing up your phone. Like there was a guy that I and my friends that know me, like they know the guys where I'm like, I really wanted this guy. There's been, I'm trying to think, 2 guys like that where my friends know, like, damn, you really fell in love with that guy when you were dating him. There was one, and he still reaches out to this day, bless his soul. But there was a guy that I was like, this guy's so cool. Like, I am so excited I met him. I'm so excited to like meet with him and connect with him and date him. And we had gone on a couple dates. We were talking. And I remember this was my birthday. Did I turn 30 that year? I think I turned 30. No, 30 would have been last year. I'm such an idiot. I don't know what I turned. Those years, you guys, are a fucking blur for me. Point is, it was one of my birthdays, and I drank too much. I drank too much. And then I'm calling him and he's answering. I'm FaceTiming. I'm drunk and I'm texting him like, I want to see you. I want to see you right now. Because I was finally letting myself feel my emotion. Like the alcohol was letting all of my emotions be open. But it's like, I sabotaged that connection. No doubt about it. Like he made it very clear after that. He's like, I think he just wasn't feeling it anymore. Like that was such a big turnoff. So it's like I've sabotaged connections, sabotage relationships, had a poor image, So that's like the immediate. And the other things that were not being displayed on public and that were not involving other people, I was coming home late, right? Not safe with that. Not sleeping well. I was not in the best shape. Not that I'm in the best shape now, but I'm as healthy as I've been in a really long time, and I really love the way my body looks now. Um, I was eating poorly, sleeping poorly, waking up late, not taking care of myself. It was affecting my health, my sleep, my mental health, my physical wellness. Sometimes, like, I think there was one time I went to sleep and my dog was outside. Like, I went to sleep because, you know, like when you drink too much, like, you just knock the fuck out. Like, driving while under the influence of alcohol, I was just being extremely, extremely, extremely reckless. And these are other effects of drinking or drinking too much, that it's like everyone on the outside doesn't see that. Everyone sees the fun, having fun, dancing, almost getting kicked out of a bar, drunk texting girl, the fun party girl, but no one sees all the things on the back end, right? No one sees like that you are more depressed, right? Because alcohol is a depressant. No one sees that you're not sleeping well. No one sees that you are neglecting cleaning your home. No one sees all of the bad effects of the alcohol. So what's my point? My point is I wanted to give you guys a background of like my experience with alcohol. So from like 27 to like 29, I think it was like 2 years of that. It was bad. And then my friend got pregnant and her life changed, which is probably for the better. Well, babies are great if that's what you wanted. We're not gonna get into that. But I'm glad that happened, because if she hadn't, I think for another year longer, we'd probably still be partying in these fucking streets, like tearing them the fuck up. And I needed to stop. So I remember it was August of 21. Oh, and then COVID is happening. COVID is happening. Just mix all that shit together. Breakup of 10 years. Grandmother passes away. Can't mourn that. I moved out on my own. I'm living by myself. Different house, different job, traveling out of the country for the first time, going through something that was absolutely devastating to me that I don't want to talk about on here. And it's fucking a pandemic that we've never been through. Like, I was going the fuck through it. So I remember it was August of 21, and we had a pedal bar, and I drank so freaking. I made the alcohol. I'm like, I'll bring like that big like Gatorade orange jug. I filled it with like all these I went to Sam's Club. I bought all these bottles of stuff, filled it in, and made like a jungle juice. And I'm like, here, you guys, because I thought it was gonna be 15 of us. Okay, 15 people do not need to drink like 7 bottles of alcohol. Like, that's not. But I have no concept to my point. Like, I have no concept of like the alcohol equivalent that people need to like feel tipsy or feel a little bit good. And my thing was like, I would drink and I would feel tipsy, and I'm like, oh, I'm not shy. I'm more outgoing. I'm fun. I like dancing. I feel good. I don't want this tipsy feeling to go away. So let me keep throwing him back. Let me keep throwing him back. But it's like, no, it's okay to just feel tipsy. Like, anything more than that is excessive, and you're going to be drunk as fuck and acting a fool. But I couldn't rationalize that because I didn't understand. I never learned like that drinking like most people do when they're in their early 20s. I never learned that, right? So I did it in like my late 20s. So there was an incident. It wasn't an, it was, okay. We got the pedal bar. It was August 21. I drank way too much. Couldn't drive. I couldn't figure out how to turn on my car. I had just gotten a new car, and it had like a little like toggle switch at the bottom. Not by the steering wheel, no button. It was like a toggle. You like toggle it up to turn on. I'm in the car and I'm like, I don't know how to turn on my car. And then my friend is like, she's drunk. So she calls her boyfriend at the time. And she's like, hey, we don't know how to turn on the car. Then she turns on the FaceTime. And in my head, I'm like, if you can't turn on your car, you should not be driving, right? So my friend that was also with us, her girlfriend drove, which is great. Thank you so much for driving us. And then I think we went to a park. I think we ate something. We went to a park. And I think after that day, I'm just like, oh, after that, it's because I was talking to some guy that like owned this gas station. And we're driving down the street, and like my friend is out of my sunroof, out of the sunroof, like down the street, middle of the day. And I'm just like, after that day, I'm like, you know what? we need to, oh, and then the guy that owned the gas station, like he sees us because he knows my car because it was like, it was, an uncommon car. And he sees us and he's like, is that you guys driving down the street? I'm laughing now because I can laugh at it. But he's like, is that you guys driving? It was like a Sunday morning, not morning, like midday. Because we got the pedal bar on Sunday. It was someone's birthday. And I'm like, yeah, it was. And I don't know what I cussed him out too. Like I was just cussing out people left and right. Because I had so many things built up that I wasn't addressing. I wasn't able to have open and honest conversations that were not being triggered by my alcohol consumption. So I think after that is when I decided, and I think like one of my first videos is like sex was my reward after I closed on my home. I think after that instance and my friend getting pregnant is when I'm like, you know what, like you have goals that you want to work on, so I need you to like remove all these things from your life. So then that's when I gave up alcohol, I gave up sex, I gave up porn. What else did I give up? I gave up social media, and then I got to work, right? And then I found this beautiful home, which I'm in love with and I'm so grateful for. And then I realized, like, oh shit, like when you give up certain things, especially those things that are a waste of your time, that do not help you, that do not help improve your life, like you can get a lot done. You can accomplish a lot when you get rid of distractions. Um, so I did that. Then I started drinking again, but it was nothing like it was before. Like I've stopped going to clubs. I'm not a binge drinker. I have a better concept and understanding of what my limits are. I don't do like 7 shots of tequila. I don't do that anymore, right? Like now when I do drink and when I was drinking, it would be like cocktails, like mixed cocktail here. But the problem is, like, my friend and I, we like exploring new places, right? So it's like you go to one bar and then you go somewhere else. Oh, I want to try their drinks here. So it's like at the end of the night, it's a Saturday night, it's 6 cocktails. Like that's not necessary, right? So between me getting this home, like September of 2022, and this 2 years in, like there have been moments where it's like I'll give up drinking for like a month. And right now I'm going on 3 months of no drinking. And the reason I did it this time, I didn't really have a reason. Like we went out in June. I think it was in June. We went out and I drank, but I didn't get wasted. I think I had like 2 or 3 cocktails, but I'm just like, I don't like this feeling anymore, right? Like I think the other day, oh, I met someone the other day and they were asking me like, oh, why don't you drink? And then I was explaining, like people lately have been asking me. And you know what's funny? I saw this comedian talk about it. He's like, when you don't drink, like people are like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you drink? Which I think is really funny. But if I say like, um, yeah, I don't eat popcorn. No one's like, what's wrong with you? Like, why don't you? Like, people are always intrigued when you don't drink. Like, they always think it's either you have a drinking problem or is it religious? Like, people are always curious. But anyway, so right now it's been 3 months that I haven't been drinking. I don't know if I'm going to drink again, to be completely honest. I don't know if I'm going to drink again. I'm going to tell you why I cut out drinking. I know, after all that 25 minutes of me talking, I'm going to tell you why I cut out drinking. I'm going to tell you what I've noticed since I've stopped drinking. And I think that'll be the summary of the video. So we went out a couple of months ago and I didn't get wasted, but I'm just like, I didn't like the feeling anymore, right? I don't like the feeling of, like thinking about the smell of alcohol right now makes me feel sick. But I didn't like the feeling